What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, haven't talked about this over here yet, but I think you all are aware of this situation going on with Zion Williamson. Alright? Now, in case you haven't heard, man, a lot has gone down over the last 3 or 4 days. Tuesday, Zion Williamson announced at a gender reveal party that his, I guess, main girlfriend, whose name is, I believe, Akima, is pregnant with their child, who will be a girl. And at the end of the day, that should be the thing that people focus on. That there's a beautiful young girl that's being, hopefully being brought into this world. Hopefully healthy and with a full life ahead of her. But nobody's focusing on that. Everybody's focusing on this nonsense. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Maybe in a much more succinct manner. A lot of the issues going on is nothing but jealousy. A lot of this other stuff is just pain and, anger being vented ad nauseum by others. But the main thing is that it's envy. It's envy because one particular person is now linked to Zion Williamson, most likely for life. Some people see this as a potential lottery ticket, not a blessed event where a human life is in creation. Now, having said all of that, Lateef Williamson, who is Zion Williamson's father and an athlete in his own right, has come out in defense of his boy. I'll put a link to this article in the pinned comment in the comment section below from TMZ Sports. Despite all the negativity surrounding Zion Williamson in his personal life, his stepfather is offering a public show of support for his son, saying he stands by the NBA star while reminding people to, quote, believe half of what you see and nothing you hear. His stepfather, actually, I take that back. This isn't Lateef Williamson. That's his biological father. This is his stepfather, Anderson Lee. So I have to make that correction. Anderson Lee is the man in this picture. Indirectly addressed the swirling rumors which started when adult film star and OnlyFans model Mariah Mills blasted the pale star this week while at a Zion Williamson Foundation event in Louisiana. He said, I want to say this at the end of his speech, and I want to be politically correct when I say it. That's my son and I love him. Believe half of what you see and nothing you hear. That's all I want to say. I stand by my son 100%. I wasn't always where I am today. And look, once again, I apologize. This is the stepfather. The biological father name is Lateef Williamson. All right, so look, Zion Williamson is very young. 22 years old. He'll be 23 very soon. Ja Morant is in the same age range. I take that into account when they screw up every now and then. I do. Like when going to Ja, right? When the first incident happened in March, I took his age into account. And even though I, may have had a harsh approach, some people might take it, I was still sympathetic to the fact that he was young. But when you do the same things over and over and over and over again, you can't keep using that he's young excuse. Because this what kills me. On the one hand, whenever one of us tries to give advice, right, about stuff to younger people, what do they tend to tell us on social media? Y'all old heads get on our nerves. Y'all live your life. Let us live our life. You lived your life. Let us live our life and do what we want to do. Stop trying to lecture us. Okay? Since you don't want advice, because we trying to learn through the stupid mistakes we made, okay, then deal with the consequences. Deal with the consequences of fucking up. Deal with it. Don't cry about it. Don't whine. Don't hug on your daddy and cry tears like a little boy. Be a man. Zion Williamson has been conducting himself like an amateur. I'm sorry, he's been conducting himself like an amateur. And if this is bullying, what I'm saying now, then I don't want to be on YouTube anymore. Because it's getting to a point where you can't even criticize people. It's bullying. What's the point of being on here if you can't speak your mind? I understand the guidelines of violence and some of these other things. But some of these things that they're starting to enforce are not really legal. Yeah, they can do what they want to do. This is their forum. But it seems to me sometimes these things are more of a judgment of taste. What I find funny, someone else may not find funny. Right? What some people find in good taste, some people might find in bad taste. But I shouldn't be allowed to look at something because other people don't find it funny. So when it's up to the point where you have physical moderators censoring some videos because they don't agree with what's being said, but then you have other YouTubers who are saying maybe a similar argument but to a different group, how is that fair? To me, even though it is their forum, that's grounds for a lawsuit. But back to this situation right here, man, with Zion Williamson. Look, man, this is where he's screwing up. Shout out to Ticket TV, because I was saying the same thing yesterday. If Zion was producing like a Michael Jordan, like a LeBron James, hell, like a Kevin Durant, this would be news, but my stance would be more like, look, Zion, just clean this up, man. Just clean this up. You know, you got too much to lose. This is actually worse in some ways than Ja Morant. Because at least Ja Morant was out there balling. At least Ja Morant was out there producing. What infuriates me, and what infuriates other people, is you doing all of this, and you can't even go out there and play. Your excuse is, when doctors have cleared you as 99%, and you say, I just want to go out there when I feel like I'm Zion. But you got time for all of this? Seriously, this. I'm trying to get people to understand where I'm coming from. Imagine you're a boss. Think like a boss for a second, not just an employee. Imagine you got people on your payroll. And let's say one of them, let's say one of them had pneumonia, right? And obviously you're going to be sympathetic. He's taking time off. But then it stretches out to a month, and then 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And it keeps missing days, which is unfair to the other employees out there that are working for you, because it's putting more of a workload on them. And then he keeps crying about, well, yeah, the doctors say I'm 99%, but I'm not. I don't want to come back until I feel like I'm really, when I feel like Theodore, when I feel like Teddy, that's when I'm coming back. Then you find out that, you look at Teddy's social media. He's going out all the time. He's partying, while on the payroll, because he's getting paid for sick leave. He's doing all this extra stuff, getting women knocked up and on social media, showing pictures of him partying and with girls and all this stuff. But he's telling you he's sick. As an employee, what you gonna feel like doing to him? I think it's gonna be one word that's gonna be the opposite of the higher word that begins with an F. On the spot. So if you're a Pelicans You the Pelicans, how do you feel right now with Zion? A guy that's only played in 28% of the games available since he's been drafted. A guy that could have been out there helping his team, which was a really good team earlier this year. Remember when Zion was out there for those first 28 games? The Pelicans was like, what, top 4 in the West, right? At one point? They could have made a run. Who knows? Look what Miami's doing. They could have made a run with Zion out there. But he chose not to play. This is a guy that was falling asleep in practice. This is a guy that took... Remember, this is a guy who got hurt, what was it, late in 2022? No, 21. Remember? Remember, he got hurt in 2021. And he was supposed to be ready by the start of 2021-22. He still wasn't ready. Doctors were shocked at how slowly he was healing. He had to have an injection in his foot to expedite the healing process. And he didn't play at all, I believe, in 2022. Remember that? But he's doing all of this stuff. He's doing all this extracurricular stuff. It just makes you look bad, bro, as a professional. People gotta understand, man, the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Yeah, they don't dress like corporate workers, but they are, in essence, corporate workers. They get to dress, rather liberally. Tattoos and all that. They don't dress, like Carlton Banks, but they are corporate entities and they are brands. Zion is supposed to be potentially a replacement for LeBron for the future of the NBA. It wouldn't even matter as much if this dude was like, a role player. It would matter, but it matters more because of who these guys are. They don't know how to be professionals. And I'm going to tell you one thing for in this video. I think the NBA and the next CBA agreement, the Players Association look into this. There needs to be mandatory on every roster a Udonis Haslem. There needs to be some guy who is an elder statesman. He don't even have to play much. Maybe a token appearance every 10 games. But he needs to be on the payroll to help these young guys show them how to be professionals. That's his job. That's his transition job from being a player to being something outside of the NBA before he retires. Every team needs to have one of these guys. Everybody needs to have Udonis Haslem. And I'm worried about the Heat after he retires. Because he's the one that's been pushing Heat culture to the players. He's the direct link from Pat Riley and the players of the past. He played with Alonzo Mourning. He played with, I don't know if Tim Hardaway was still there. But he probably knew of Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway probably visited. I can't remember if Tim was still there in 2003. I don't think so. But he knows these guys. He played with most of these guys. He's the embodiment of Heat culture, and I'm concerned about Miami when he leaves. Yeah, he don't average many points, but what he provides for that team has been, it's immeasurable. And more of these teams need these types of guys. That's why Houston sucks. It's not just so much because they're young, but they don't know how to win. They don't know how to, some of these guys, they don't even conduct themselves right, man. There's a lot of stuff that you don't see off the court. Some of these guys, they party, they don't know how to eat right, they wasting too much time doing dumb stuff, they don't work on their games. They don't get enough rest and preparation. A lot of that has to do with how you perform out there on the court. So yeah, I do think that a lot of teams need a guy like Udonis Haslem. And they also need to have, more life advisors or life coaches. Because one of these days, one of these players is going to get into a serious, I can see it, legal scandal. I can just see it coming. And this is also the importance of college. College helps to prepare these players for the NBA as far as playing the game and the pressure of playing in a NBA situation. That's gone. So anyway, man, a lot of players predicted this 20 years ago that we were going to start seeing stuff like this, man. But tell me what you guys think.